Welcome. What is up? Welcome to the Mixer. I am your host, RC. I am not joined by my co-host, Jeff. Jeff is unavailable this week, but I wanted to make sure I checked in with you guys. We got NFL training camp starting. The Olympics are going on. It's the dog days of summer with baseball, and MLB trade deadline is later this week. A lot going on in the sports world. Wanted to make sure to check in. We also have the Hungarian Grand Prix on the weekend. First things first, though, do not forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Do not forget to rate and review on any podcast app. We are on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all the usual places. We thank you for the support, and we are at FCY Mixer on all social channels, the primary one being Twitter. As always, we start with tilts. I'm going to be honest, this week, not too much to tilt on. The living situation, which has been in flux for a few years, seems to be coming to some sort of resolution. So I'm hyped on that. Gonna maybe not have the Winnie the Pooh background if you look along on YouTube, which will be sad, but it'll be, a little more reflective of where we're at as far as growing the hashtag brand. So I am pumped for that finally. And yeah, I'm just excited for what's to come of the ever changing world. And I mean, I haven't been tilting, or it hasn't been a tilt, but internally I'd been tilting about the crypto world and Bitcoin being down. It looks like we're about to get the true pump on. So I mean, what can you do? My tilt is maybe there's not so much to tilt this week, which is a good thing. All right, so a lot to check in on. I wanted to touch on something first that we didn't have time to cover last week because we had that crazy Formula One race at the British Grand Prix and the accident between Max and Lewis. I'll get into Formula One towards the end of the show, since we covered it so much last episode. But I wanted to talk about the Padres and first off reference the kind of the harrowing incident or the situation that happened at the Nationals game a few weeks ago where there was the shooting. Happened to be watching the game live, and they came back and the announcers were trying to figure out what was going on. They showed an emptied out section of the bleachers in the outfield, and then people running and hiding. And sadly, the mind goes straight to thinking there's going to be some mass shooting, or there's some mass shooting taking place. There was the scare, which didn't actually sound related to the All-Star game, but there was a hotel near the Rockies stadium where a housekeeper reported somebody who had a lot of guns and a lot of ammo, and it sounded like it was just kind of false alarm. They just had a lot of guns, and it being Colorado, not too crazy. I mean, again, take this with a grain of salt. That was the last thing I heard. I haven't heard anything more into it. Maybe there's an investigation ongoing, but it sounds like there wasn't anything imminent. Anyway, so pretty worrying half hour or so before there was kind of something official that there was a shooting outside of the left field exit of the stadium, and it was audible on the game broadcast and to the people that were in the stadium. They postponed the game. I think it's supposed to be resumed here as part of a doubleheader in September, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, and of course there was the story about Tatis and Machado going to pull people down into the dugout. I'm not gonna harp on that too much, but I'm glad these guys took action when they didn't know exactly what was going on, and they put others' safety first. It sounds like some of the people they pulled out were their family members, but I saw pictures and the dugout was full afterwards. So at the very least, they initiated the move to get more people into safety. Read something about it, kids kind of being traumatized because of it, and it's just super sad that happens, and that was the first experience for some kids in a ballpark. So as a dad, you kind of worry about the state of things, and I again don't know what the answer is. Obviously, I'm not here to preach about those types of issues, at least not at this moment. Just going to think that everybody's okay, and that some players took some initiative to put others in a place of safety, and hopefully it's just a sad but unfortunate reminder for people to be prepared for for the unexpected happening. And I don't know, hopefully it somebody learned something from it. But anyway, it was just a wild moment in the season and in sports history. So hopefully it was just a one-off, and thank God it was a false alarm. Another thing I wanted to touch on, let's stick with the Padres. The Padres acquired Adam Frazier from the Pirates for some prospects. I know one of them was, a pretty highly rated prospect, but not one of their top guys. I think he might have been a top 10 prospect. I'm not entirely sure. I don't, follow the minor leagues ratings too much. So, his first game was last night. He got 2 hits. I think he went 2 for 5, scored a run or 2. He gets on base a lot, so looks like he's going to be batting at the top end of the lineup. Offers a lot of flexibility where he can play position wise. I guess he plays second, so you could have Tatis at short, and then him at second, and Cronenworth on first, or you could put him on left field, move Pham to right field. There's just a lot of things that you can do with it. Guy who can consistently hit and play lots of positions on the field. So, positive move. It seems like all signs would point to the Padres trying to move Eric Hosmer, which he kind of bristled at a question from reporters yesterday where they asked, if you were to be traded, would you be disappointed, since you were kind of here at the start of this generation of Padres players? Again, paraphrasing, that wasn't the exact question. And, he kind of criticized the reporter interviewer, saying, that's just a really dumb question by you. You're better than that or something. And just said, all right, guys, thanks, and walked away. So some obvious frustration there. I've seen some kind of cryptic things on Twitter from Padres people in the know about, that there might be some other reasons why Hosmer is being moved. It sounds like they're kind of citing the leadership that Machado and Tatis have shown, and, kind of contrasting with Hosmer, who was kind of brought in to be that guy. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm not sure if there's some sort of barrier between, Tatis and Machado and Hosmer. If there's just not good chemistry between them. It seemed like there was before, so I don't know. Just, reading into it probably more than we should, but it definitely, I don't know if his frustration that came out yesterday when he was asked that question is just due to his lack of production, that's even a question that's posed to him, or if he's not happy on the team anymore, or, is this all just to dump a, a salary that maybe the Padres could do without, since he's not really hitting like he's being paid to. And I mean, he's a great first baseman. There's no doubt about that. But, you could throw a lot of people on first base and they could do pretty well. So we're going to see what the Padres do and a lot of other teams do at the trade deadline. They're supposed to be going after Scherzer. There's been Joey Gallo. I mean, I want to say Gallo, but I think everybody says Gallo. So, I don't know. Whatever. Joey from the Rangers. There's talks about acquiring him. It sounds like there's might be something to the Byron Buxton rumors, which would be crazy. So a lot going on. Sounds like the Padres are bidding against the Dodgers for pitching. We'll see. We'll see who ends up winning that battle. I know the Dodgers are, although they're 3 games ahead of the Padres, or maybe just 2. They've had their struggles recently. So, and they are the defending World Series champs. It's going to be really interesting to see how the power struggle shakes out after the trade deadline. Just really interested to see how the teams shape up, and if the Padres can make a big move, if they can challenge the Giants for the division. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to a game in 2 weeks, day game against the Marlins. Going to be there with my little girl, so I'm excited. It'll be the first game that she's been to, first game since the Padres switched to the brown uniforms that I'm going to. So I'm pumped. Let's go Drays. Let's shift gears real quick to just want to give credit to the Milwaukee Bucks. We had some NBA talk, and they won the NBA championship. They beat the Suns 4-2, I believe, in the series. Suns won the first 2 and then lost the next 4. So I just mainly bringing this up to say that this was the Clips year, and unfortunately Kawhi got hurt. So going to be on free agency watch for him. I don't know if he's a free agent, but there are talks about him moving. So again, I don't follow basketball closely enough. I apologize. Hand up. I'm dumb as far as it goes to that, but I'm just riding that Kawhi train wherever it goes. So maybe someday I'll just have a jersey from each one, and it'll give me exposure to different fan bases, and then I could pick one from there, or just be a troll and stick with the Clippers. I don't know. So yeah, congrats to the Bucks. Congrats to Giannis, who, I mean, had probably one of the best closeout games ever. I think he scored more than 50 points, if I'm remembering right, and did a lot at the free throw line where he had struggled for a long time. So congrats to the Milwaukee Bucks. It's a team in green winning a title, which doesn't happen very often. And yeah, they don't, no Mickey Mouse title for them. They despite injuries to other teams, Giannis sustained an injury of his own and went back out there and balled out, had like one of the best blocks probably ever. So props to the Milwaukee Bucks and their fan base for getting that title. They were pumped. I hear Milwaukee's actually not a bad place to go visit. So anywho, shouts to the Bucks, shouts to their fans, and enjoy it. The last thing I just wanted to touch on, as it's going to be a short episode, gotta circle back on Formula One. We got the Hungarian Grand Prix this weekend. Track is kind of tight and small. I believe it's called like a outdoor Monaco GP. it closely runs to Monaco. It's, the straights are pretty short. The track is pretty narrow. So, if Ferrari was good at Monaco and they're good at qualifying, they could pull out a surprise here if they have a good Saturday and put one of their cars on pole. Probably, if I had to bet, I'd say it would be Leclerc who is able to do that. Hamilton has done really well there. I think he's won it like 7 times or something, or gotten 7 pole positions. I mean, something ridiculous. He's done really well there. This has been the site of some pretty crazy races. I don't know if we're going to get that this time. Hopefully we get some rain. I did, last I checked, there was a 23% chance for the brand. Chance of rain on Sunday. We'll see how that plays out. But I mean, the main story going into it is, what's going to happen if Lewis and Max get near each other on track, and they most likely are. One's probably going to qualify first, the other's probably going to qualify second. Or, if Leclerc somehow throws his name up there because Ferrari has been running well on Saturday. But either way, these guys are going to be near each other. And Verstappen, pretty displeased. Red Bull's still pretty displeased. Looks like they're trying to get some sort of monetary fine against Mercedes because of the damage done to Red Bull's car. I mean, I've just been seeing the $1.8 million cost to the Red Bull team all over Twitter. It's all... So yeah, Max Verstappen and Red Bull clearly not happy with the accident. I've had some more time to kind of soak it in, let the emotions simmer a little bit, and look at the accident in a new perspective. Originally, I had not really found Hamilton at fault. I kind of said both people are at fault, but how could you only give a 5-second stop? I guess it wasn't even a stop go. It was just a 5-second penalty. It could have been ended at the end of the race, or they could have, done it before a pit stop, is what they opted to do. Taking a second look at it, and I think the turning point for me, as far as the way I viewed the accident, was kind of factoring in that there is some runoff on that corner. So Verstappen should have known that Hamilton was down the inside. And if somebody moves that aggressively down the inside of you, they're going to have to brake pretty hard to make that corner if they're not going to hit you, which I've never seen anybody do. If somebody goes that far down the inside, that deep into the corner, I've never seen somebody just basically, slam on their brakes essentially to avoid an accident. So, I mean, from that perspective, it Max didn't have to turn in. He didn't have to hit the apex. He could have taken the corner wide, ran off track, say Hamilton pushed him off, and, that probably would have been deemed a racing incident, and they could have continued racing into the next corner. And I guess it would be the S's that's going into, but still, Verstappen didn't have to turn in on him. He could have maintained the same speed and just went wide. And he still would have went around Hamilton, because Hamilton had to slow down more. So looking at it from that perspective, like, it was an aggressive move by Hamilton going into that corner, and he should still get some sort of penalty that he did, but I don't understand the outrage. Well, I mean, I understand the outrage by Red Bull and him, because they're just defending their guy. It's what they have to do. But like to take it to the extent that they are, and Helmut Marko, I mean, I don't know what his role is. He's like the president of Red Bull, owner. I don't know. He's the money guy. It seems like, him attacking Hamilton and making a lot of accusations. I mean, it could be handled better, and hopefully these guys realize it, because I mean, Max cannot be absolved of all the blame. He's done a lot of aggressive moves, and he should have known Hamilton was there, and he should have given room, and they could have both continued to race on, and nobody would have ended up in the barriers. So again, like I mentioned on last episode, hopefully it's a wake-up call to Max, that he takes a little easier, and hopefully this is a start of a title fight here down the stretch, because let's grow the paddock that Barstool is throwing out there. I think that's their hashtag to sell F1 merch. Let me know if you want F1 merch. Their F1 merch is kind of weak. But yeah, really excited for the race nonetheless. Throw some shekels at Ferrari. They got a sneaky good chance of making getting a surprise result out of this race. And hopefully it's not a snoozer, because it can be at the Hungaroring. I have sat through some boring races and woken up at way too early to watch these races, but also had some really great ones. So there is that. Last thing I wanted to touch on, we have NFL training camps beginning, players reporting. We have sound bites. We have clips. We have Aaron Rodgers wearing a Kevin Malone shirt from The Office, which I've seen like non-freaking stop. I don't really get it. I mean, what is Rodgers trying to say here? He's Kevin Malone spilling the chili. Is he, or I mean, is he? I got the what is it? The Steve Buscemi, hello there, fellow kids vibes when I saw him with his ridiculous sunglasses, man bun, and a shirt from The Office. I mean, what is this, Aaron? You Mr. Funny Guy, Mr. Jokey Jokes, with your ironic T-shirt, showing up to NFL training camp and sunglasses. I mean, I don't know. I guess it looked good for the gram. If that's his branding exercise, more power to him. But and then I guess he was very open about his struggles with the organization and in some interviews today. So I haven't listened to that, but it's going to be an interesting ride for Aaron Rodgers, the last dance, as he's terming it, which is very generous, since he's only won one title. He did help him and Davante Adams win the only fantasy football championship that matters. So there is that. So thank you, Aaron, for that. Thank you for feeding Davante nonstop, and his performance in week 16, where, I think Davante was like over 3 touchdowns, or maybe it was 2 touchdowns at 100 yards in the first half. I had a huge deficit, and I had the 2 of them. I think I was down like 60 points, and I was able to cover it with just those 2 guys. So yeah, great stuff. Got some fantasy football drafts scheduled in person, live. That's going to be awesome. We're going to be picking it up on the fantasy football content, as that is, our primary sport. Now that we have the distractions of the NBA, hockey, which we ignored almost entirely, and the Olympics will be wrapping up, we can focus on Formula One and football. My two favorite things. So got some great content coming for you guys. Hopefully we'll be able to land another big fish out there like Liz, come on and talk some football or some Formula One and just up the quality here, because that's what we want to do. We want to give you that sort of thing. We're going to have, some more mock drafts. I really want to get in the big dog draft. I think it would be awesome. It's a $250 buy-in tournament on Underdog. So if anybody wants to co-sponsor a team, let me know. I was going to run that by Jeff today. Like maybe we go halvesies and do a draft and, go against like Evan Silva and those guys to see if we can, I don't even know, finish higher. I mean, what would we be doing it for? We'd be doing it so we can post a YouTube video of it and, two noobs drafting in the big dog tournament on Underdog. Yeah, it's got to be some clicks, right? Anywho, that's going to do it for this episode. It was a somewhat short one. Next week, we will talk, Hungarian Grand Prix, MLB trade deadline, all the stories from training camp in the NFL. Don't forget, shortened preseason, longer regular season. COVID's picking up out there again. So everybody be safe, and we will catch you next week. Thanks for listening. Doodle!